Now, I mentioned at the start that I spent a lot of my time going to presentations by ministers for this and heads of department of that and professors of this, and they're all really boring presentations, right? But why is that? Those guys are the experts. They should know absolutely everything there is to know about a topic, and yet they're so boring. Well, it's the curse of knowledge. So our next presenter, Cindy Tonkin, is going to tell us all about the curse of knowledge and how to thwart it. Cindy Tonkin.
This guy, Barry Marshall, he's an Australian, West Australian doctor who cured ulcers. If you've seen Mad Men, you'll know that ulcers were a big deal until around 1984, when this guy couldn't actually prove that he could cure ulcers. He actually downed a tray of the bacteria that he believed caused ulcers and incurred an ulcer on himself that he nearly died from. He got the Nobel Prize in 2005 because he took the courage to have his idea and actually communicate it. But what do you do if you've got a magnificent idea you want to put on Possible, or you've got an amazing research concept, or you've just got a good idea at work and you want to communicate that? You can't actually induce an ulcer because, we know how to fix it now. Maybe you've got a great idea that you've got to get across. How do you get over the curse of knowledge? The curse of knowledge is essentially that when you know so much, it's really hard to distill it down to the things that will get people listening to you. There was a guy, for example, IBM, as you know, big computer, right? Prior to that, they used to make typewriters. The maintenance guy got sick of the keys jamming and gave them an idea for a ball that turned to make the typewriter work. And that's how IBM made heaps of money and could still be a world power as it is right now, because someone had an idea. If you've got an idea that you want to get out there, the question is, how do you do that? How do you distill all that knowledge, like Steve said, into something that's actually digestible? That's what I want to talk about today. For example, at Sydney Uni right now, they're doing research on sitting. Do you know these guys are suiciding sitting right here? Not because of what they're doing to their neurology from playing games, but the fact that they're sitting down. Sitting is the new smoking. This is the kind of research that you got to get out there. But when we get to educating, we end up feeling like there's so much to tell and so little time. And what do we say first? So I've got a way to make you not feel like a dunce when you're trying to get your knowledge out there, and not to make your audience feel like a dunce, because that's the other thing that some of those experts do. So, make a noise if you've got an idea you'd like to get out there. Just make a noise. Thank you. That's not enough noise. Make another noise if you've got an idea. Thank you very much. That's better. The reason I'm interested in this, I wrote a couple of books. The first one was in 1999. This photo should have been way prettier, but it's not. And I've written probably, a dozen since then. It essentially comes down to the rule of threes. If you can find the 3 ideas or the 3 things that you have to make sure everybody knows, people will start to listen. If there's only 3 things, that's easy to remember. The rule of threes comes from basically this. You've got to get a good idea. Then you've got to find the 3 things and then get it out there. And if it's a story, like the story of little Mikey, it's even better because people get it when it's a story. The rule of threes is very strong in comedy. Knock, knock. Lettuce. Let us in or we'll kill you. See? Set up, punchline. It's just in our DNA. The rule of threes. Tell me how many. Memorise as many of these as you possibly can. You've got less than 10 seconds. Okay, who can remember all 10 of them? Make a noise if you can remember 5 of them. Oh, you're good. How many of you can remember 4? How many of you can remember 3? More people. How many of you can remember at least 2 words that were on that list? Yeah, and some of you, how many of you just can't remember even 1? Brilliant. So can you see that if you get it down to 3, maybe someone will remember, but if you can make it 1 thing, fat makes you fat, for example, it's easier. No matter how complex it is, when you bring it down to 3 things, you can remember it, they can remember it, and then action actually gets taken. Essentially, it's about bringing it down to 3 things. So, when you get your 3 dogs in a row, you're ultimately able to bring your curse of knowledge into a gift, because that's what we essentially want. What Ignite's about is actually bringing things down to a single thing. If you want to do more, Made to Stick by Chip and Dan Heath talks about the curse of knowledge. Daniel Pink, To Sell is Human, fantastic. And Susan Weinschenk, 100 Things Every Designer Needs to Know About People. Read it, you'll be blown away with how simple it is to get your big ideas into just 3 little things. And you can go out and inspire and ignite the world. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Cindy Tonkin.